Hey everybody, this is Dan back with another mortgage explainer with the topic of the day being how long is your pre-approval letter really good for? All right, because as most people know, when you get the pre-approval letter, most lenders put a date to say this pre-approval letter is valid for a certain amount of time. And typically when I send a pre-approval letter to a client, I'm going to put it out for about 90 days, but in reality, I like to usually do it based on when we pulled that credit report because a credit report is good for 120 days from that initial pull. So basically, as long as we close within 120 days of when that initial credit report was pulled, we do not have to pull new credit before closing. And so that's what we'll put on the pre-approval letter typically, letting clients know, hey, as long as you close before this date, our pre-approval is valid. But a pre-approval, let's just remember, is just that. It's not the final approval, it's a pre-approval. And so things can, of course, change from when you get that initial pre-approval letter, but we still have to go through the underwriting process once a client is under contract to purchase a specific home. So what else can change from the date that the original pre-approval letter is handed out until when you're actually under contract and looking to close? So one of the things is uh, your income. So do you still have the same income? Are you still with the same employer? Are you still receiving the same amount? If you're receiving any variable type of income like commission pay, bonus, or overtime, have those fluctuated at all? Because we always do have to get updated pay stubs dated within 30 days of the closing date. So if the income has varied from when that original pre-approval was done, that could slightly increase or decrease the amount that you're actually pre-approved for. And even once you do get that accepted offer, we get the updated pay stubs, lenders also take it a step further just to make sure that, within 7 days before that closing date, we have to just contact the employer and make sure that our client is still employed, that they haven't left that company that we were verifying the income through. So that's one of the main things. Another thing is interest rates. Interest rates can change, and if you're going to a purchase price that is close to or at that maximum purchase price that you've discussed with your lender at the time of that pre-approval, if mortgage rates have maybe let's hope that mortgage rates have gotten better, right? So if that's the case, then your pre-approval amount might even be higher than what your initial pre-approval letter says. Or in the opposite direction, like we've been experiencing, if mortgage rates go up a little bit, then that maximum pre-approval amount may not be quite as high as what you had on that initial pre-approval letter if your lender gave you a pre-approval letter going right up to about what that maximum purchase price might be. So that's another thing that you want to check with your lender. If it's been a little bit since you've received that pre-approval letter, check in and just see where the market's at. Also, maybe even let us know based on the specific property. Let's see what the taxes are so we get the full picture of what your payment would look like and confirm for you too that, hey, yeah, you're good to go. Feel confident about making this offer. And then another thing too, we talked about the credit report being good for the 120 days. Yes, that is true. But lenders also have what's called credit monitoring in place. So after we pull that initial credit report, it is going to alert us if there's a few events that happen to your credit after that initial credit pull. So first off, we're going to know if anybody else does an inquiry on your credit and pulls credit because that might be a cue that there's a potential new account that may have been opened from that credit pull. And if that's the case, we just need to know about it because we have to count that new liability and that new monthly payment towards qualifying as well. So it does not automatically mean we have to pull a new credit report if you open up a new account or if your credit report is pulled, but it's something that's going to prompt lenders to ask the question, what was that credit pull for? And if there was a new account that was opened, again, we have to count that new debt, and that could be something that impacts how much your pre-approval letter is good for. Again, if you were going up to that maximum estimated purchase price initially. Now, what will be a cause for lenders to pull a new credit report is if there's the unfortunate event that we're notified of a late payment or a collection being added after the initial date of the credit pull. So if those happens, a derogatory event to the credit, then we can't just ask the question. It is cause for a new credit report to be pulled to see what's the the changes to the credit score, after either that late fee or collection, and make sure that we're still getting an approval, with all the other information that we had. So there's the short and the long answer of how long the pre-approval letter is good for. It's just best practice to always be checking in with your lender, especially if it's been a little bit since you've received that initial pre-approval letter. If you find a house that you're really interested in, let us know. Good lenders are going to be very responsive. We're not going to be the ones that want to hold up you getting an accepted offer. So just contact us, contact your lender, and say, "Hey, I'm putting in this offer. Here's the purchase price." Making sure, hey, everything's still good to go based on market conditions and everything else that we just discussed. And it's just good to be proactive about these things. So hope that helps. If you have any questions, of course, you can contact me here anytime. I'm always happy to help. Thanks again for watching. Hope you all have a great day.